we're going to do super tone workout, and we're going to need 2 heavy weights and then 2 light weights, our mat and water. And we're going to go ahead and warm up. So we're going to squat and up. And we're going to raise and raise. So we're going to be doing supersets today. So 2 exercises back to back. We're going to do an upper body exercise, and then we're going to follow it with a lower body exercise. Now, squat, up, raise, and raise. Squat, up, raise. Somebody's here. Squat, up, raise, and raise. Squat, up, raise, and raise. Now we're going to curtsy and curtsy. Curtsy, 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 and we keep going. Curtsy, curtsy, curtsy. Couple more. Curtsy and curtsy. Now we're going to go in and out. So in and out. Okay, now we're going to curtsy again. So curtsy, curtsy. Now open up. So in, do it twice. Good. Again, so curtsy, curtsy, curtsy. 2 opens. Open and open. Good. Curtsy, curtsy, open, open, and open. Curtsy, curtsy, open, open, and open. A couple more times. Curtsy, curtsy, open, open, curtsy, curtsy, open, and open. We're going to side lunge. Side, 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 side. Last one. Now we're going to go down. Just really try to make those arms nice and long. Like there's something up above you, and you're trying to reach it with your fingertips. Couple more. Okay, we're going to do side lunge. Side, side, 2 lifts. Up. And up. Okay, again, side, side, lift, up, and up. Again, side, side, lift, and lift. Again, side, side, lift, and lift. 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 Side, side, lift. And last one. Side, side, lift, and lift. We're going to reverse lunge now. Reverse, reverse. That's it. Just taking that leg back as far as you can. Try to get a little bit further each time. Okay, now I'm going to press out and out, out, and out, out, and out, out, And now reverse lunge. So reverse lunge, 2 presses. Out and out. Again, reverse lunge, out, out. Good. Reverse lunge, out, and out. So when you take those elbows back, make sure you're taking it back, pinch those shoulder blades. And then almost round that back and bring forward. Really warming up the chest and back, because we will be doing push-ups later. Open, open. Practically, well, it will be in our first set. Okay, a couple more. Last one. And open. And open. All right, so shake it out. And then we're going to go ahead and start here in a second. Make sure you have that water handy. Today's one of those unmade bed lifts, right? All right, so we're going to start with upper body. We're going to do a superset. So we're going to work for 30 seconds. We're going to have 15 seconds to go in between. So we're going to start with a row, then we're going to go down into a push-up. So you can use your weights or not on your push-up, depending on how, flat your weight is. Mine are rounded, so I'm just going to go down to a push-up. So grab your heavy weights. And it's an alternating row. So you're going to hold both weights, but we're only going to bring one arm up at a time. So we're going to start for our 15-second countdown. So we're going to wait for a second just to pick up the weights so that we don't have to hold them during this first set. And then we'll get down into that push-up during our second set. And we'll do 3 sets. Okay, ready? So here we go. Up here, knees are bent, back is over, looking out in front. And then we make sure that elbow comes up nice and high as it goes back behind us. So this way we make sure that each side gets a nice row when we do them alternating like this. Make sure that you're pulling up in that belly also. And you're not letting your head drop down, so you don't want to watch it. Okay, so let's go down. You have plenty of time to get into that push-up. So you can do a regular all-out push-up, or you can do a nice knee push-up. Try to get those shoulders right above the wrists, okay? And then we're going to go down and up. So when you're doing a push-up, we want to try to avoid having those elbows go straight out to the sides. We want to try to tuck them in next to the body as we're doing that push-up. Really work on those back muscles and the chest and that tricep at the same time. Alrighty, coming back up, we have plenty of time. We're going to go back into that row. So we're going to do the sets 3 times. So this will be our second set. So remember, bend the knees, bend at the hips, look out in front of you, and then here we go with that row. So think about bending over nice and low. You know, if you can get the flatter back and the lower you go, the more work you're going to put on that back as you do your row. And the less work you're going to put on that lower back and make it harder for that. Don't drop your head and look at your hands while we're doing this. You don't need to watch your weights. All right, setting those weights down. Come on back down onto those knees or into a full push-up. Watch where those hands are. Make sure those shoulders are right above those wrists. And down and up. So when you're thinking about this, if you can get that back nice and straight so that you can make sure that your tushy's not going straight up into the air while you're doing this, that's good too. Good, pull up through that belly button. When you're coming up from that push-up, try to dig all 10 fingers into the mat so you're not just pushing up through the heel of your hands too. You gotta use that whole hand. Okay, knees tipping over at the hips, looking out in front of you, and here we go, one arm at a time. Pulling up through that belly button, pulling those abs in nice and tight, really getting that arm up each time. We have 30 seconds. We have a lot of time to get a lot of good reps in. You might even be feeling this through your glutes. You're nice and bent over, and you have some good weight. Alrighty, last set of push-ups. Back down on those knees, or all the way up to a regular push-up. And we're going to go down in a second. Here we go. That's it. So I do knee push-ups just because I like to get as low as I can into my push-up, because I know my regular push-ups aren't as low as I'd like them to be. I could probably do 1 or 2 decent push-ups. And then the rest would be what I call squeakers, where my elbows only go down so far. Okay, shake that out. We're gonna do legs next. So get a quick drink of water. So our leg exercise, we're gonna do a deadlift, and then we're gonna do dumbbell swings. Now for your dumbbell swings, you can either do one or both weights, depending on how comfortable you are holding on to your weights. So it's just like a kettlebell swing, but we're gonna use the dumbbells instead. So we're gonna grab those weights, just bring them right in front of us. So we're gonna bend the knees a little bit when we do our deadlift, because we really wanna target the glutes. So we're gonna hold on to our weights, we're gonna bend the knees and come down and then come back up. So it's a hinge with the hip when we're doing it, but we are gonna bend the knee and come back up. So it's not a squat where we bend like that. You hinge at the hip and you bend the knee a little bit and come back up. Because we really wanna work those glutes when we do it. And then we're just gonna swing the dumbbells in between. Alrighty. So have those weights ready right in front of you, and then we'll pick them up when we hear the timer. In a second now. There it is. Okay, so we'll grab them. Okay, so remember, wider legs, okay, bending the knees. And then we're gonna come all the way back up, squish the tush down. Okay, and remember, as with everything, we're pulling in that belly as we go down. So even with just a little bit amount of weight that we're doing, we should be able to feel it in that tush as we push back. Very good. Okay, so now we're gonna swing. So I just like to hold it kind of loose in my hands. Open my legs up a little bit wider to give it some room. And with both hands, we're just gonna swing them in between, down and up. Just like a kettlebell. Come all the way up, push through the hips. And remember, they're swinging, we're not muscling the weights up. We're letting that momentum bring those weights back up. All right, so grabbing those weights, bringing those legs a little bit closer together again, maybe. Okay, hold them, getting ready to go back down. And we're gonna bend those knees and make sure those knees are soft. Sending it nice and taut, here we go. Down we go, Chin and chest are up, so we have a nice flat back. Pushing that tush back. Thinking I want to touch the wall behind me with my behind so that we can get as much movement in that tush as you can. Feel it nice and deep underneath the tush. That's what's going to lift it up. So that when you wear shorts and swimsuits, everything's nice and lifted. All right, here we go. Swing it. And again, this is another one of those great tush lifters. Squeeze that tush when those arms are up. Pull in the belly, because we've got to protect that lower back as we're swinging. Squeezing the tush, pulling in that belly button. Okay, one more round of each. Almost there. So I'm just going to turn to the side, do a little side view. Okay, here we go. Down we go, pulling it in the belly button, pushing out the tush, coming back up, giving a big squeeze. Down we go, pressing. So one of the things to help too is if you're thinking, I'm just not feeling that in the tush, when you go down, kind of push the weights back in between your legs a little bit more. So it's getting closer to the heels, and then that way you automatically, go a little bit further, and it gets a little more stretch on that tush. Alrighty, one last set of swings, and then we're gonna go back to a set of arms. All right, here we go. Right. So I'm going to put those weights down for a second. Shake those arms out. And get a quick drink of water. Okay, so we're going to bring those weights up, and we're going to do this nice little opener here. So it's our we did it in our warm-up, nice little, it's a lateral opener for the chest and back. So hopefully your weights are good for that one. I might have to change my weights to my little tiny ones while we do this. And then we're going to go into an alternating kickback with for our triceps here. So we'll do one arm at a time, so you can really concentrate on just that one arm. Ready? So here we go. We're going to grab those weights. Open and close them. Good. Try to keep those elbows up, parallel with the floor. Open it up until you can feel those shoulder blades want to squeeze together in the back. Get those weights to touch in the front. Whew, okay, good job. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get those triceps. So bend at the knees, bend over at the hips. We're going to bring those elbows back so that they're in line with our ribs, or maybe a little bit further back. Then we're going to kick back one arm at a time here, so we can really concentrate on getting that tricep back there as far as we can. Because sometimes when we do it 2 times, both arms get into this swinging motion, and don't concentrate on that tricep as much as we should. We're just working our elbows there. So we take it back, give it a little squeeze. Let's rest. Those shoulders rest out. Make sure your knees are pushed back. Soft knees. Okay, arms up, open, and bring them in. So this is going to work your shoulders, and it's going to work the sides of your rib cage and your biceps and your back. Nice. Alrighty, getting ready for those triceps again. So bend your knees, bend over your hips. Get ready to tuck those arms in. And push them back way far, way up here. Okay, press it back. Okay, try to not bring your shoulders up towards your ears. And if you can give it just a little bit of a tiny hold, a little bit of a flex of that tricep when you fully extend your arm, then that's going to just give it that little extra work that you want for that tricep. Okay, one more set for those arms. We're going to go back into those legs here. Bring them up, getting ready. Okay, open and then close. And again, it doesn't need to be fast. Slow is better. We're really trying to tax those muscles. One last set of triceps. Stick it out. Okay. Bending over, pulling in those abs while we're doing it. Protecting that lower back. Okay, here we go, one arm at a time. That bicep gets a little bit of a workout at the same time. Try to relax your neck. Try to keep those shoulders from creeping up. Good. Keep breathing. You can do it. Oh, okay. And set those weights down for just a second. Get yourself a nice drink. Alrighty, so we're going to be on the floor. You're going to get one of those little weights and keep it handy. We're going to do what's called a super bridge and a single leg bridge. So the first one's the super bridge, so your feet are going to be shoulder width apart. Fingers are going to be facing towards the other room. And we're just going to come all the way up, make yourself into a tabletop, and then bring yourself back down. Again, up, and then back down. So pull in your belly button. Squeeze your tush a little bit as you come to the top. So that's our first one. Then our second exercise is you're going to put your heel onto your little weight. So your toe is on the floor. You're gonna lift a leg up into the air, and we're just gonna bring that tush up. So make sure you're nice and stable, and boy, can you feel it right behind your, into your hamstring when you go up. And then we're gonna switch for the second round, and then the third round, have your other weight handy, and we're gonna put both heels on for the third round, okay? Alrighty, so here we go. So get that one out of the way, because we're gonna do that super bridge first. ready. Make sure they're not too far away from you. Okay, here we go, up. And so you let that head look straight up towards the ceiling, keeping the neck in line with your back, okay? So you don't want to drop it behind you, but you don't want to keep your chin tucked into your chest either, okay? Because that way you want to make sure you're breathing, and you don't want to do any damage to any neck muscles or anything. So you just want to keep everything in alignment. Alrighty, so one heel under, and toe is on the floor, because you have to be able to push through that toe and through that heel. I like to walk up on my shoulders. The other leg is going to be in the air. Now we're going to push up and come down. Careful, because it wants to roll underneath. Alrighty, so both feet off, and get ready to do that super bridge again. So come up, set your feet where you want them, hands where they need to be, so you're sitting up. And here we go. And we'll do the other side when we hear the beep, with the weight underneath one heel, toe on the floor. Now with this one, some people want to put their fingers facing behind them. And I understand that, but I don't want your shoulders to go out on you. Okay, under the opposite heel, toe on the floor so that you have a good grip. Get those shoulders where you want them. Okay, up and down. Other legs up in the air, pointing up towards the ceiling. Readjust yourself as you need to as we do this for this 30 seconds. We'll go back into that super bridge after we hear the beep. All right, so one more set of super bridge, and then we'll put both heels under for this next round after the super bridge. Okay, getting ready. And up we go. Now really think about, can I squeeze the tush? Can I pull in those muscles right below my belly button? So come up, give it a little hold up at the top. Don't be so fast that you're just going up and down, and the only thing you're working is your shoulders. Because we're trying to work those glutes and those abs right here. All right, so bringing it down, adjusting those weights. Find that spot, make sure those toes are happy, and you're on the shoulders where you want them. Okay, down and up. And squeeze that tush at the top. And again, pull in those little muscles right there, right below the belly button. Squeeze the tush. Hold it at the top just a little bit. It's a nice process up there. And time. Alrighty. Okay, we're gonna put those off to the side, and we're gonna go back and do our last set of arms. And, okay. So our last set of arms, we're gonna do is Ottoman Curl. So it's the bicep curl, and then we turn our hand around and then we go down the opposite way. And then we're gonna put a weight down, and we're just gonna do the halo and take it down to our leg or our hip down. So the last one's a one weight. So Ottoman curls up, turn the weight, go down. Nice and slow. Up, turn the weight, go down. That way you work the forearm and you work up into the shoulder. So we'll start here. We'll go up, turn it, and then go down. Turn it. Good. Just go back and forth like that. Again, make sure your knees are just slightly bent. You don't want to have your legs all the way pushed back. You like to have that nice athletic stance while we're working so that you can have that lower body engaged the whole time. Alrighty, so now we're going to put one weight down because it's too hard to do this with both weights. So we're going to take it around the head, hold it down. Around the head, whichever direction you want to start. Okay, around the head, and then to the knee, around the head, to the knee. So just keep going side to side. So this shoulders, waistline. Okay, grab the other way. Roll the shoulders down and back. Nice and tall. Bend the knees. Up we go. So I did get a donation of some weights. So if you ever need heavier weights, there are some extra weights back there. If you want to go up a pound or two. Okay, last set of upper body. Okay, up we go. Ottomans. Good. Add that little bit of a squat in there. Get a little bit lower to the knee. Oh, and time. Alrighty, so we're going to do our last set of legs. We're gonna grab our two weights, set them down in front of you so they're nice and stable, okay? And we're gonna put our, we're gonna put our heels on them, sorry. So we're gonna put our heels on them for the first exercise, okay? So get them so they're nice and steady. We're gonna hold one weight though. And we're gonna do, go ahead, get a drink. And we're gonna do just a goblet squat. So your feet are, you know, whatever's comfy for you, about shoulder width apart, okay? And we're just gonna go down and do a nice low squat and then come back up, okay? So we're gonna get those, make sure you're nice and steady, take your time, don't go fast because we have those weights on the heels and we don't want anything to roll. And then the next one, we don't use any weights at all for, okay? So start with nice soft knees, so we're not starting from, you know, the pushed back leg. So make sure the weight's not tucked into your body, okay? So have it just gently, just a little tiny bit away from you, so that your arms have to do a little bit of work. And of course, the lower you go, the more work you're gonna get in your quads. And you have to have even weight on the toe and the heel. Okay, so then we're gonna go ahead and put this weight down. So we're gonna start with, you're gonna do a reverse lunge and then go into a curtsy, okay? You're just gonna go, well, split squat, sorry. Split squat, curtsy, and we're just gonna keep doing that. Just keep going, that's starting. So it's just a split squat and a curtsy. And then next time we'll do the other side. And just one's kind of quick, just a little quicker movement, just a quick tap, tap. So try to, woo! I was just gonna say try to be nice and balancing and then I fall over. Okay, good. Okay, so now we're gonna get back. Get those heels on your weight. Guess you should have grabbed your weight first, maybe. Then got your heels on your weight. And we'll do our goblet squat. Okay, here we go. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. So it's split squat, curtsy, just nice little ones. So just nice little taps. Good. Kind of quick for these. And then our third round, when we do this, we'll do 2 on one side, then switch and do 2 on the other side. Okay, last round. Heels on weight. Someone crack-a-lackin'? Okay, so 2, then 2. Good. Running out of time. Okay, that's it. So, is it really 5 minutes till? It is. Okay, so I guess we have to cool down. So we can leave those, you can leave those there and I'll pick those up in a minute. I have time. We'll do our cool down. So let's go ahead and take a nice big inhale. And then exhale and drop the chin. Okay, up we go. And drop the chin. And let's take that right leg back. And just really lean into that front leg. And get that heel up off the floor, that one in the back. Just kind of move it around, feel the calf back there. And get it so that you can feel it stretch. Okay, now lean back a little bit, get the heel on the floor. And then feel whatever you have to do to get a stretch into it, whether you have to lean forward or not. I don't have to lean much to get a stretch into it, because my calves always hurt. So, I don't know how much you have to lean to get it stretched. Okay, now we're gonna power up into that front leg. Okay, we're gonna take it, the other leg back. Okay, so we're gonna lean forward, the heel is up, and we're just gonna wiggle that back foot around, and you're kind of massaging that calf while we're doing this. Okay, now we're gonna come up, set the heel on the floor, and then you can lean forward or back or whatever you need to do to get the stretch on that calf. And we're gonna come up, okay? And we're gonna take just a little side stretch here, because we're really trying to get into this little booty here because we used it a lot today. So now we're gonna turn on the heel, get into it a little bit more. I'm gonna try to keep the whole foot down on the side we're putting the weight on. Okay, now we're gonna walk ourselves over and go on to the other side. First you can stretch it, then you can turn it. And then we're gonna put both feet down, bring your weight into the middle, and just really kind of lower that tushy down. Good little sumo sort of squat, nice deep, wide squat here. And then I'm gonna put my hands on my thighs, and then I'm gonna round my back, and then slowly come up, and then walk my feet in. Just kind of shimmy them in, and then bring up. Okay, and then fingertips behind the ears, roll the elbows back, pull the belly button in, and then push just tiny presses back with those elbows. Good, tiny presses. And then we're gonna go ahead and put one hand on the hip, and then we're gonna push the hip out, so you're like really leaning that hip out. And then we're gonna come up, and we're gonna do it the other side. Really leaning that hip out. So you're stretching the arm out. We're getting through that bicep and the shoulder and the sides of your ribs there for some of those arm exercises we did. And then we're gonna bring it back in, and then we're gonna take an arm back. Just nice rotation back, 2, forward 2, 1, 2, and then the other side, back 2, and then forward 2, and then we're gonna open and shut, so just a little dynamic stretching here. And then we're gonna shake it out, and a couple breaths, and exhale, again, inhale, and exhale, one more. And exhale. We're all done.